Hey now, my nap fam, it's your girl T, aka the nappy headed jojoba. A little more up close and personal than we're probably accustomed to. I just unleashed the braids and twists from my most recent wash day, and I wanted to put my hair in a bun. But I wanted to talk a little bit more before I do that about edges, girl, edges. My edges have been more of a concept than a tangible thing pretty much my entire life. And truth be told, I never really thought much about edges or even used the term edges until the advent of YouTube hair videos and social media. It wasn't a concern for me. It wasn't anything I was self-conscious about or concerned about. I have always been aware that thin, fine, fragile hairlines run in my family, and I was lucky enough to inherit that. In fact, on the right side of my hairline, I've got a little bald spot that's essentially a birthmark. I was literally born with it. It's about the size of a fingertip right here. And let me tell you, it is the smoothest skin on my body. Hair will never grow there. But aside from that, it never really bothered me all too much. I never really felt like I had anything to be ashamed of, and I still don't. But I do get more than my fair share of rude comments here on YouTube, just saying, does she have cancer? Where are her edges at? Things like that. Now, the people who leave comments like that are obviously garbage people, because what if I actually did have cancer? What if I did have some illness? Can you imagine how insensitive that would be? I'm lucky and blessed enough to be healthy as a horse. I'm just made this way. I just have fragile, fine edges, and somehow I've managed to live a pretty fulfilling life nonetheless. So I accept that about myself. I don't really think too much about it except when I'm on camera. And when people leave comments like, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Have you tried Jamaican black castor oil? Have you tried Vicks? I don't really bother with all of that nonsense because I don't really think there's any point in trying to regrow hair that was never there to begin with. But as time has gone on, I have come to the conclusion that I could stand to be even gentler with my edges than I have been thus far. Historically, I've never used brushes and edge controls and gels and things like that that I think would pull and tug on my edges and make them even more sparse than they already are. But as I demonstrated in my most recent wash day video, I have been leaving my edges out of sections when I pull my hair back just to give them a bit more of a rest. And I'm also doing the same in the nape of my hair back here in my kitchen because that area tends to be finer and break to the texture. I've got actual curls that clump and everything in the back of my head and on the sides, so it's probably more of a type 3 hair if you're into the hair care grading system. And here my hair is in all of its shrunken glory. I just took it down and it is not in any style, and I don't even like a center part on myself. I literally just unraveled my braids and twists and here I am. Since I am on this mission though to be as gentle as I can with my edges and perhaps thicken them up and let those follicles that might be a little bit more sluggish because of tension and just a little bit more rough handling than maybe they can stand, maybe my hairline will fill out a little bit more. I'm not really expecting much, but I'm going to try my darndest. So, here we go with my non-profit Save the Edges. So I'm taking a multi-pronged approach to this, but the main thing is basically just leaving my edges alone, avoiding pulling them back as much as possible, making sure that whenever I do stretch my perimeter of my hair, the edges and the nape, it's in loose twists so that that's even gentler on the strands that I do have. Tight buns and puffs are out of my repertoire until I see if I can actually get some improvement on my edges. Again, they've been thin since I was a child, and extremely tight cornrows as done by my mother on my hair growing up certainly didn't help. I'm planning to wash my hair in a day or two, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw it up in a bun just to tide me over until then. And typically what I'm planning to do is to leave my edges out like I've been saying and just kind of figure out a style where I feel like it still looks cute enough where it'll sort of be like twisted bangs kind of situation, and leaving my edges out of my buns. But for today, I'm actually going to just do it semi-loosely because I have a product to share with you guys. It is called Edgefull, and they did sponsor this video today, so thank you, Edgefull, for reaching out to me. It's basically hair building fibers that you use to fake it till you make it. Marsha, she is a woman of color, and you guys know I love to support Black-owned businesses on my channel, but she reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in trying her product, and I was definitely intrigued. I think something like this might be really useful for me for when I am on camera and I do feel a little bit more self-conscious about the sparseness of my edges. I find that when I am on video, on camera, my edges do look way balder than they do in person. Something about the bright lights really makes those fine hairs just disappear into my skin, and it looks like my hairline starts back here. I don't like it. And actually, this side where I've got the bald spot is overall even worse than this side. I think I just have fewer hair follicles on the right side of my head, in addition to having this sort of divot in my hairline. So there's my hairline. As you can see, there's hair there. It's just very fine and sparse. From far away, when I'm on camera, it looks even thinner. It looks like there's nothing in this entire area because, as you can see, the hairs are very sparse. When I compare it to what it looked like when I was younger, I don't really see much difference. And I've even asked my mom, and she said that she doesn't think it looks any different. But yeah, I'm not working with much on the hairline. This is my worst side, my right side, where, as you can see, here's the little dip in my hairline, the bald spot that is a birthmark. I was literally born with it, and my mom was like, "What's that?" when she was sort of inspecting me as I was a little baby. And yeah, hair just has never, ever grown there, and it never will, and that's okay. Somehow my life will go on. Okay, so I'm gonna throw my hair into a bun real quick, and I'll be back, and then we're gonna test drive this Edgefull kit. Okie schmoky, bun is done. As you saw, I used one of those hair donuts, which you may have noticed I covered in a nylon knee high, which serves two purposes. One, the nylon is gentler on my hair than that scratchy mesh that those hair donuts are generally made of, and two, to make it black, because the donut I have is like a tan light beige color. So by making it black, it'll help blend in if there's any little spots where it's poking through between my hair, because doing this on camera, I was not able to be as thorough with making sure I had it perfectly covered, but I'll fix it later. So this is my starting point. Let's get into this Edgefull We've Got You Covered kit. She sent me two colors of the hair fiber. She sent me dark brown and black, as well as the hair building fiber accessory kit. Right off the bat, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna stick with the dark brown because my hair is not black. It's more of a slightly lighter than a number 2 if you actually see my hair in person, particularly in the sunlight. In the hair building fiber kit, you get 3 things. You get the hairline optimizer comb, which you're meant to place along the hairline. You get this spray applicator pump, which you place on top of the bottle of the hair fibers themselves. And you also get this bottle of setting spray to help hold the fibers in place for longer wear time, I suppose. When Marsha from Edgefull reached out to me about trying this, at first I was just like, is this throwing shade by saying like, girl, you need to try this Edge product? But truth be told, when I took a look at the kit, in particular this and the little pump thing, I thought it seemed really, really clever. It seems like a pretty clever system. According to the side of the box with the fibers, it says it is natural looking, blends well with natural or chemically treated hair, no stains, product will not stain skin or clothing, and I will confess I did wear a dark top today in case it does stain. Windproof and sweatproof. Fibers will remain in place and not be affected by wind or sweat, which is more than I can say about my real edges. I feel like whenever there's a strong gust of wind, I lost a little bit more. Cruelty-free, not tested on animals, 100% plant-based, and it says no synthetic dyes, natural iron-based colorants. The kit that comes with the little atomizer, the comb, and the setting spray is not required because according to the directions, you can just style your hair as usual, gently shake the hair fibers over thinning area, pat down hair to disperse the hair fibers and to create a more natural finish, best used on dry hair. Okay, I'm gonna do my best to do this, completely on camera, which means I'm going to use my camera's viewfinder as my mirror because at least that way I can be certain that I'm in frame. So that will probably sacrifice how good the application will be, but at least you guys will be able to see everything that I can see. So I'm just peeling the seal off of the hair building fibers. Again, I'm using the dark brown ones. And just so you guys can get a sense of the color, there we go. So you can see it's quite dark on the little sticker that was on the lid, which is perfect. Just so you guys can see, this is the little sticker lid from the black fibers. I don't know if you'll be able to tell a difference, but this is the dark brown and this is the black. So you can kind of see there's like a warmth and richness here in the dark brown, and the black is black. Okay, so I think I have to remove this little sifter on the top to be able to put the little atomizer pump on. I don't know if you guys can even see anything, but there's one of those little sachets for keeping things from caking in there. All right, so we've got the little atomizer on top. Oops, didn't want to do that, just wanted to pull the little plastic tip off. There we go. So let's start with my worst side. I'm gonna get a little closer so I can see, so that you guys can see. And let's start maybe about here. Let's go to where my hair more or less stops for real. Okay. And here we go. I don't know if I'm putting on too much, but got a little bit of fallout, as you would say if this were a makeup video. And I do have some of the fibers on my hand here that have just sort of fallen as I'm patting. I'm not really sure how to deal with my bald spot because there's no hair there for the fibers to cling to. So I'm just sort of trying to make that blend in as best I can. Did I take it too far? I feel like I might look a little crazy. Let's go for the center here. I feel like this looks a little crazy, but maybe I'm just not used to seeing myself with edges. So I think on the other side, I'm going to start a bit farther back. I think also my little bald spot, my birthmark here, is making it look a little weird too, because there's really nothing I can do about that. Like, that's just going to be there and that's going to be bald. So I think because the little comb has these dips and grooves in it, I'm going to actually kind of line that up better with my hairline on this side instead of in front of it and see if I get a better result. Let's see. Yeah, I think that was way better. Okay, so let's take this as a lesson. This is how to use this product. This is how not to use this product. This process is a bit messy. I've got fibers all over my hand, so I'm gonna wash my hands real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, I've washed my hands and I will say it washed off very easily, but while I was in there, I noticed that I had a lot more of the fibers right here on this temple, so I went back and added some on this side to make it look a little bit less lopsided, and then just got my hand dirty again. But the fibers do wash off super easily. I can also say that after taking a closer look in my bathroom mirror and really like getting up in there, I think the color match going with dark brown was definitely the right choice for me. And I feel like there's a learning curve to figuring out how best to apply and blend and exactly how dents you want to pack on the fibers, as well as how you should place the little comb if you're using it. And then you actually still do have to blend in the fibers to get it to look realistic with either your fingers, or you can probably use like a little makeup brush if you wanted. Let's try this fiber setting spray. I don't know if this is going to be like an aerosol. Oh no, okay. It's just a regular pump bottle. I don't know if you're supposed to, oh yeah, shake the bottle. I instinctively shake everything. Shake the bottle before use. Hold the bottle 10 to 12 inches away from the hair and gently mist the areas where hair building fibers were applied. All right, so 10 to 12 inches. Hard to figure that out on camera. Again, I acknowledge this side looks crazy because it was the side I did first and I didn't quite know the best application technique. Not to mention my little birthmark bald spot is not helping the matter. So let's actually get this pump. Okay, it's a pretty fine mist. That's cool. That's all I'm gonna do. All right. I'm sure that if you had thinning in your nape or even balding in the nape, you could use this back there and just place the comb like such as and fill it in if you wanted to. If you ask me, the color is blending in pretty well, and even up close, it doesn't really look crazy to me. I think the only thing that looks crazy is that I probably applied the product way too ham on this side. I just put on too much and brought it too far forward. So, lesson learned. But on this side, I feel like that's definitely believable. I mean, I wouldn't think anything of it. You do have to be careful about getting the fibers on your forehead and stuff. So if you're going to use this product and you think you're going to be wearing any makeup or anything, I would do this before your makeup. I mean, I feel like on this side, I look a bit like Jermaine Jackson, so I definitely have to work on my technique on this side. All right, so we have had our first experiment with the Edgefull hair building fibers. Would I recommend this product? So far, yes, I think I would. If you are self-conscious about thin edges and it's just not at the point where you're ready to get like a hair transplant or anything like that, I don't think that that is a real thing that I would consider, because I don't really like the idea of taking hair from the back of my head. Like I don't want a scar, and it's just not that serious to me. Like I said, I was never even self-conscious about my edges until people started being rude to me on YouTube. So I'm really happy to have this option now. I think that if I'm on camera and I want to wear a high puff or high bun, which are honestly my go-to styles, I'm really happy to have this option to just pop on some of these fibers to beef up my edges if I'm going to be on camera, or even if I'm just going somewhere in real life and I want to have a little bit more than I actually have. And when I'm not wearing my hair completely pulled back, I will be most of the time wearing my edges left out, letting them kind of just rest and baby them and take the best possible care that I can of them. Basically giving them a life free of tension and pulling as much as I can. What I will do is I will leave in the description box as well any thoughts about how it wore as the day went on, because I only like to shoot with daylight, and by the evening there won't be any more of that. So if there's anything I notice with it migrating or disappearing, or if it holds up and stays in place, I will let you know my final thoughts in the description box on how this product wore by the end of the day. Let me know if you have struggle edges as well. I know quite a lot of us do in the Afro textured hair community, whether it is genetic or through traction alopecia or some other version of alopecia. I think if a lot more of us are honest about it, then it's a lot more helpful than just trashing each other. And it's nice to know that there are options to fill in our hairlines if we do feel a little bit self-conscious about them. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Edgefull for sponsoring this video. And if you are curious about trying it out for yourself, all of the information you need will be linked in the description box. Support a sister, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
That's a nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.